Alright, we should be live. Hey everybody. Alright, let's give it a couple of minutes. Plus I got the heater running. It's getting cold in here. So I want to let that heat run before we start everything up and get going with the stream. So my first real stream, did one the other night with one of the cell phones. That worked out okay. This should be better. This is actually using the A6400, the Sony A6400K. And it's tethered. Alright, so I didn't want to run a wire, but that seems to be the only way for me to do it right now. So I've got a wire from the audio, from the Rode mic, coming into the computer. That's going into the sound card. Then I got a USB cable coming from the camera, tethered into the computer. So I'm on LAN. It's ultra low latency. There's no wireless going on here. Wireless is problematic. That's going to be a while before I can do anything wireless. I'll show you a little bit more about what I got going on, and then we'll get started while I'm letting the heat kind of cook. I should be live. It looks like I am. Yeah, kind of does. So I tried it a number of times with an unlisted live, and it seems like it's working. So I have no headphone on or anything. It looks like I have audio and all that, so I haven't really changed any settings. I'm running everything into OBS Studio, so it's software driven. There's very little hardware other than the cameras and the wires. What the hell's that sound? It's windy out. And so I'm just going to chill, have a smoke, and before we get started. So what I'm doing is Sony has a software that allows me, it's a remote software that allows me to kind of control the camera. And that's actually running on this monitor right here. And what OBS is doing is it's kind of taking a picture of that, right? A stream from that monitor. It's actually looking at that monitor's signal. And then it's cycling it through its software and kicking it out to you guys. So it's not like a 4K. It's a 1080p stream, video stream, but it's going to be a little bit grainier, and it may have... It's not as good as like taking the feed out of the HDMI. Then I would have to bring it into some kind of a physical switch or a dongle, and then taking the HDMI feed, which is much higher resolution, and then bringing that into the OBS software and then using that as my video feed. Actually looking at an ATEM makes one, a small one. It's like a video control console. It's a few $100s. Everything's expensive in this, right? So with that, I can HDMI to HDMI. I'll still be tethered. I'll still have wires, but it'll be a much cleaner signal, and I can use multiple cameras, which is nice. So for intros or for other shots or whatever, that's nice. I don't think anybody's actually watching this, but I'm not getting any. Let's see. It says here, watch now. Live test waiting. Let's see. I just want to see if I can see it on my phone. Something's happening, but this thing's really slow. This camera won't work. I was trying it with the iPhone the other night, and it just won't work. It's got... I was trying with the iPhone oh, wow. The other night, the delay is not that bad. It's got... All right, so what I can do... Let me... yeah, see, it actually just lost the stream, because I don't have good wireless out here. That's the other problem, too. So we need to mute it or something. I don't know how I'm going to do that. We'll have to keep an eye on it. So I did get the iPhone to work. I did update the iOS, but this is my phone, right? So I don't want to keep using my phone for live or any kind of video, because people are texting me. I might have customers today, so I might cut the stream short. We'll see. It's getting late. I don't know where everybody is. You know, everybody wants something until all of a sudden they don't show up. So I don't have good enough wireless out here. My wireless is 100 feet in the other building in the basement. It works fine if you're in the house, but out here I would need another wireless system that I can set up as a broadcast wireless and then as a switch. But that still isn't going to give me like a really good connection in terms of video. There's going to be, if you ever watch any live stream that's videoed, right? You'll see fuzziness and you get kind of this weird marbling, weird modeling effect as people move around because of all of the delay and the loss in quality. In order to transmit video over a live signal, you have to do a lot of compression. And the better the camera, the more it gets compressed. So if you're trying to do a higher quality, even the professional units, until you get into the multi-$1,000 transmitters, the professional units, typically they'll put a transmitter on a camera and a receiver somewhere else. And what they're usually doing with it is they're using it as a monitor. They'll put it up on a big monitor type screen. They'll hand it. It could feed to a bunch of these little like tablets or cell phones. And that's great on a shoot because your clients can see what the product looks like on the video end, right? Behind the cameraman, all that other work, everybody's working to deliver a product. And the clients can watch that any piece of the product that you really want to show them, depending on how sophisticated your system is. That's 1080p. It's not 4K. It's just too much. So it looks like I'm live. I'm going to start now. We'll move the camera. So I only have one camera set up with the tether, and the cord's coming down here, and I've kind of got it out of the way. I'll show you. The cord's going down there, and then what you're seeing is that's OBS. So I actually cropped the window a little bit. That's the OBS software, and this is the live studio from YouTube, and this is what the feed is actually from the camera. So it's confusing. It's difficult to do. So let's get started and put the camera up on this stand. And we'll turn some light on. All right, let's see. Let's see. Uh-oh, got a customer coming. See what I mean? Right? It always, as soon as you start doing something, then you get interrupted. That's why I don't do lives, really, unless it's like maybe at night, because I'm always doing something, and there's always something going on. Let's see. Yeah, I think we'll do it tomorrow. All right. Yeah, he can come tomorrow. I just want to see what kind of what it looks like here. It might be a little too bright. Let me check it. That looks good. There's probably nobody watching the live stream. I made everybody sick the other night when I was trying to do this. Let's see. And I don't really like doing streams at night. It's too dark in here, right? My lighting systems are not that good. All right, so we can take this thing apart. It looks like it's okay. And one of the nice things too is I can actually just kind of zoom in a little bit, and I can see where I am. I can also see it on the other monitor. Let's get started. Put a little bit more light on it. Let's see. All right. I'm doing this for Tony, so this is Tony's Craftsman. You know what? You want to see it real quick? It's up on the table over there. I don't want to move around too much because it'll shake. Let's just see how the quality is. So it's really a test, and I figured, well, let's work. So I can pretty much see everything. It seems to look okay. I'm not too sure about all of the settings yet, so that you have to bear with me, fellas, on that one. Doing live streams is very different. All right, let's start off with getting, the carb is pretty clean because I've washed it already, but I think we could just give it another quick wash, which is something I generally like to do, is just grab some old, it's a combination of like thinners and two-stroke and, whatever, right? I save it because I'm frugal. I should be called the frugal mechanic instead of just like Arch's Garage. I see it, TJ. I should put up like a chat window close to me. But I don't have it. I don't think. Yeah, I can't do a chat window really well yet because this. Yeah, lots of people ask me questions now. All of a sudden, like potential customers are like, is that lawnmower for sale? Is this for sale? Right, as soon as I start the live feed, right, that's the problem with me doing this, is that there's customers beeping me, and nobody said anything. Yesterday, last night, everybody was like, is it for sale? Oh, is it good? Did you read the ad? Is it run good? No. It says it runs great in the ad. I did everything to it. I listed everything, and then why don't you read the ad? All right, read the fucking ad. So I don't have one of those fancy vibrator tanks, right? One day, right? But everything is so expensive. Like, you need camera gear, you need tools, you need to pay your mortgage, which is ridiculous. My taxes are like $8,000 a year now. So, you're not buying too much of anything. Like, I'm lucky I'm still here. I want to move down south. I love Long Island, but the weather is awesome. The people are okay. Like, they keep to themselves. Like, we don't talk to my neighbors, right? Because everybody's all up in their own head. But it's just too expensive. And I got a cool shop and all of that. This is good. It's good enough. All right, just wipe it off. We'll take it apart. The reason why I do this, right, is because I'm like real anal, and this is pretty clean, but generally speaking, like my concept is that you don't want to be putting the dirt you took off of the carburetor inside the carburetor. Now, what I think I'll do is let me back you out a little bit because you're in kind of tight. It's one of the neat things about setting up with this camera, because I can lean over and I can grab the zoom lens. And that's kind of what I was talking about the other night, is that when you're using these kinds of cameras, like there's the physical stuff and then there's the digital stuff. And they both have their place. All right, let's pop it open and see. So he's got some cool features on this. Oh, to get to the idle jet, yeah, he's something. Let's see. Can I get to? I see Henry. Henry, I see you chatting, but I don't know. I can't see everything because the lag on this phone is terrible. I got to get a wireless system out here. Let's see. I don't know what I don't know. I gotta fool with it. I have to go to my YouTube channel. Alright, this is just a bracket to hold on the whole. It's not an air filter, it's like a snow shield. So we got that guy in there, right? That's pretty cool. We'll check him out. Now this thing, see this whole thing here, right? It's really hard to get off. So if you were to just take a screwdriver, there's a lot of times when it's coming off, but a lot of times it won't come off. So this is what the banger tool is good for. You could take one of these banger tools. Yeah, that one's stuck on there. Oh yeah. Right, now it comes off. And I have tried so many different things. I think because well, it does have a lock washer on it, but they might use a thread locker. And from age as well, it just won't come off. So if you want to take it off, a lot of times you don't have to, but I just wanted to show you that. Now these Tecumseh, so this is, as the title I think says, if I titled it right, 10 horsepower Tecumseh. 8 horsepower, 10 horsepower. They're all basically the same once you get to that. Even like the 5 horsepower ones, they're about the same as well. So let's see what we have. All right, we're going to turn it in, and this is the idle jet, and let's turn it in and see where it's at. It's a little stuck. That's one turn. That's like 1 1/4 turns. So you guys got to remember that, because I'm not going to remember it. 1 1/4. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. You guys seeing that? It's all nasty. Yeah. All right. We'll get that cleaned up. All right. Let's see what this one is. These are great. Like, you can totally adjust this. Barometric pressure takes a dump, right? You can adjust it. Let's see. Go 1. Oh, a little over 1. All right. Let's take that guy out. So just to remember, the tickler, the French tickler, is in line, right, with the intake tube. And also the flat over here. We'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, that's a little nasty. Yep. Now they sell kits. Be careful, fellas. So there's a little washer here, a little like brass washer. You need that. That goes, in front of the spring. And it kind of, there should be an O-ring there as well. You get a pick. So we don't really want to get carb cleaner on that. See, here's the O-ring. All right, put that to the side. Feels like it's okay. It's got dirt all around it, of course. And it's just a regular O-ring, so if you have an issue, get an O-ring kit. All right, let's crack this baby open and see, because I can guarantee you. How's the lighting look? Ooh, that was a little hard. Well, I don't see anything too crazy. It's just a little bit of dirt. You can't probably see it, but yeah, there's dirt right in this passage. Yep. All right. That's why we're here. And there's no sediment though. It's just a little bit of what collected. Let me turn that light down a little bit. I just want to see if I'm overexposed. Yeah, a little bit. See, when I edit, I can deal with some of the exposure issues, but we're live, so we'll have to kind of go with whatever I make happen. Let's see. Oh, it's not bad. All right. It's just got dirt on it. All right. Nice brass float. I don't hear anything. It's good. Now, this is something I always say, it's a good idea to save these, right, if you have any extra carburetors, because you can use them. There's a tiny little pinhole right here on the main jet. You see? So, if you have a couple of extras, I mean, you can use the one that obviously comes with the car, but I think that's kind of neat. So, you can clean that out. Yeah, there's a little bit of dirt in there. Now, what else we got? Now, we got this guy in there. So, that's why I like to take that bracket off, because usually I can shove a screwdriver in there and kind of push out this emulsion tube that's in here. So, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Yeah, you might. Right? There's a little emulsion tube in there. And I'm going to kind of shove my screwdriver in and just kind of give it a push. If I use the right screwdriver, I can get it. Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't think that's... It might be stuck. Let's try a different screwdriver. Oh yeah, she's stuck. That's a problem. Right, we hit our first problem. It shouldn't be stuck. It looks like a brass one too. So we may need a carburetor just because it's stuck. What we can try doing, and I would make the recommendation to not force it because it is brass and you could screw it up. Let's try this long Phillips head. See if I could just grab it that way. It should come out. Yeah. Nope. All right. What we can do is shove something in there. So I get my pokey things. Since the carburetor isn't terrible, right? Notice that there's not a lot of debris and oxidation all around here. We're just going to shove our pokey thing in it. Try to knock off any debris. Also, too, guys, I don't know if I mentioned it. Here, hold on. There's another little brass guy right here on where the adjustable idle jets get this. So there's a brass guy there, little brass washer. And there's also a small O-ring here. And I'm trying to gently pick it out. Another way to get it. So we want to be mindful of that. Sometimes I can get it this way. Yep. No. No. Oh, it's in there. I don't want to force it out because there's not a lot of dirt here. Just trying to shove something into this port. Right, a little brush. Just to make sure. Now another place that's an issue is this is your primer hole. Right there. That's where the primer tube goes. So take a smaller one. And I've seen it where a lot of junk gets plugged up in here. And just kind of push something in there. So you can get these on Amazon or whatever. Yeah, that should do it. Now one more thing. Just to make sure this is all nice and clean around this edge here so that we get a good seal. I'm just going to take my wire brush, a cheap wire brush, and just give it a good cleaning. And this doesn't look terrible, but we'll know if it needs a carburetor. I'll get a carburetor for it. You know, it's always nice to kind of try to fix the original equipment carburetors because these aftermarket carburetors can be problematic, and you could just, you know, go for the long and get a factory replacement when they're available. That's going to change the cost of the job. And in some cases, you know, people don't want to pay for it. You know, nobody, especially now, like nobody's going to have any money now because of what's going on in the world. All right, let's give this a spritz, and then we'll blow it out. And just stick it in every hole. Now, there's this, it's a baffle plate. It's almost like a freeze plug like on cars. It's just a piece of metal that they fold over, and you want to get your tool, your little spray needle tool up in there. I think we got it. And then there's a couple of ports. On this one, there's only one port. Oh, no, there's two. There's one here, and there's one there. Let's see if I can show you. Let me blow it out. I'll show you. Off camera. Away from your stuff on the table. Low pressure air, about, I don't know, 30 psi. That's not bad. It's just in here, an emulsion tube. But other than that, it's not terrible. All right, we're going to find out in a minute. All right, now we got that done. Now this guy here, these rubbers, your rubbers, I usually just dunk them and then run my fingers through them and then just rag it off. Let me get a towel. But one of the things I like to use is, because there is some dirt on it. This is my transmission fluid mix. So, you know, tranny fluid mix, a little bit of half and half, about 50% transmission fluid and gasoline. And if you think about what's inside of a transmission, right, it's like highly polished machine surfaces and these. Lots of these. So it will clean it and it'll make it nice and it'll even refurbish it a little bit, you know, like invigorate it. But it's not going to kill it, right? It's not going to like deform it or blow it up. If you get too much gas on it, that really shouldn't affect it, but it might blow up a little bit. If you get gum on it, any of the rubber stuff, yeah, you could have a problem. So now we got these guys. Let's see. Do we want to clean the main jet next, maybe? We want to be able to poke something through it. Now, yeah, that's got to be customers. Yep. Possible customers. Oh, they're going to have to wait. So I just want to poke through. Just to make sure that there's nothing in there. And I can see there's a little bit of junk here. I'm trying to keep it bright enough so you can see. And we already poked through that one hole. So we should be all right. All right, let me blow it out. Well, it's not too bad. And then there's that hole. Right there. See? All right, we're good there. Now, so here's his idle jet. take the spring off. Yeah, everybody's out of the woodwork. I think because people are getting off of work. And they're like, is it available? Is it available? Yeah, if the ad's up, it's available. So I'm going to take my Scotch-Brite and just kind of polish it a little. And then try to feel it. But it's not damaged. It just got some rust on it. Yeah, that'll work. Now, you're looking for any kind of pitting. It's just staining. Blow this. And then there was that little washer. Right, we have the little washer. And then I'm going to put a little bit of my tranny fluid mix on. Sweeten up that gasket or O-ring. Let's pump it in. Let's screw it up. Let's see how we get. A 1 1/4. Is that what it was? I don't know. I don't remember. That's 1 and a little bit. Generally speaking, whenever you rebuild a carburetor, I turn these out about 1.5 to 2 turns, and that's where you start. People will text me and they'll be like, "Arch, on that chainsaw, on that whatever, how many times did you turn out?" As if that's going to be the magic setting because I did it. No, it's only for that machine in that moment in time. You'll have to set it yourself. So that looks good in there, right? There's a seal down in here, so you want to be careful when you're blowing. Another reason why I say low pressure air. And if you really wanted to clean that, it's just a seat. It's like a silicone rubber seat. Now his is pretty clean, but if you want, you can take a Q-tip, pull off some of the stuff, and just a little bit of like solvent or whatever, and just run it in. And because you might have some stuff around the walls of the casting. It looks good. I don't see anything in there. Let me give it a blow. Yeah, I don't see anything in there. I think we're golden. And we got to do the main jet too. All right, we can start putting some of this together again. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It looks clean. So generally they don't come out, but it is possible with 100 and something psi air. You could just try blowing air into that. They do come out, and they do go bad. If your needle is struggling to move up and down through that hole, there's a good chance your carburetor is dead, because you'll see casting. The aluminum casting will get all this fuzz, and it can develop around that it's called a boss or bore, and it will jam that. The two of them are aluminum, so they'll jam in there. I've gotten carbs to work even with like that, but at that point you might just want to order a new carb, right? Because it's telling you that I've had enough. All right, let's put this guy back on. How does he go? How am I doing it? What am I doing wrong? Something like that? I forget now which way it went. No, I don't think it goes that way. Does it go this way? I can always fix it. Let's see if it went. No, I don't think it can go that way. I'm not paying attention. Is it possible to go this way? No. No, it won't go the other way. I just screw them back in, and you know, I don't put any Loctiter on or anything. You could put just a little bit of like blue lock on. I think it's because snowblowers vibrate a lot, and so what I see a lot is that these screws that hold that steel plate on the front, that sort of air box, they'll come out, right? You might want to put, because there's just a piece of tin here, whereas this is going into a boss, a threaded boss. The ones on the front, there's not much holding them in. I think it's like a 632 or something, or an 832, and you can also go up in size and thread that bracket. That's common. That falls off. All right, that looks good. All right, now we can put this back. Stand by. Stand by. Need coffee. So I don't hear anything in here. Yeah, that's fitting nice. See, it's actually a little bit short, like it's a little tight. I like that. Don't we all? Right, that fits nice. We like it a little bit tight. Right, there's a joke in there somewhere, as Musty would say. Let's try to get it lined up. Hold on. I'm getting tired because I've been fooling around with the camera stuff all morning, trying to see how you do this. So this is like a test run. Yeah, I'm not getting it. You got to hang it in such a way so that it's not in the way of anything. Why am I struggling? Yeah, because it's getting hung up. Hold on. Yeah, something like that. You try to hang it like that. There we go. All right, it's on all the way, and then check it. Now we can get a tube. Let's see. Is this tube going to fit on there? I can just get another one too. All right, let's put a tube on it, and then it should be closed now. So if you blow in, nothing. And then if you hang it the other way, and we'll do that in a minute, you should get air coming through. Now, usually what I like to do, so there's the flat. I like to put the flat in the back by the fulcrum. And this one was moved a little. Yeah, that fits nice. That bolt fit real nice. So that's in line with that fulcrum. This is in this direction, but I think it was turned. It was askew. All right, we'll put a little bit of this fancy stuff on here. I do that to like make sure that everything is going together nice. It should kind of fit together by hand. I think how that went in there. And then I can tighten it. And don't, muscle down on it. That's good. Now let's check it. Okay. And then flip it. Nothing. Okay, that's sealed up. Now we'll do the main jet in a minute. Let's put this guy back. Right, that's just another bracket assembly. Yeah, that main jet needle looks pretty decent. It's just got some oxidation on it. I hope this is just the problem, but I'm not too happy with... I've seen it where sometimes they don't come out and it still runs. I don't force the issue. That's a metal one, and they go in differently than the plastic ones do. The plastic ones, I've seen those break in your hands. Break trying to get them out, break after you get them out. The metal ones are better. It's called an emulsion tube. Let's see, do I have one around here? Hold on. I had one here a minute ago, but it was for a Briggs. I just wanted to show you. Here, let me show you what it looks like before I do the jet. That's good. These have little biting teeth on them. Let's see, do I have one here? Yeah, this is one. This is for a Briggs. So this part sticks up into the carb, into the throat, right, coming up this way. Let me show you the other one, though. I think I have a plastic one. This is a pack of the smaller Tecumseh. Yeah, and the newer carburetors, when would Tecumseh go out of business? I forget. Like 2009, maybe? So they did actually change to a plastic design like this, especially on the smaller carbs. Why do I feel like that's like washed out? But it looks okay. Looks okay on my monitor on the computer. So it's got two O-rings, and they're kind of special, like this one here. But the older carbs definitely had the all metal, everything nice. So here's our O-ring. And I just kind of rub them through my fingers just to pull off any dirt. And if they fall apart when I do that, well, then you got to get another one. So that's good. We'll take the washer off and the spring. And same deal. Just a little bit of Scotch-Brite. Don't use sandpaper. And don't squeeze it too hard. There's got a tip on it. If there's anything wrong, if it's bent, it's no good. They do sell rebuild kits, but you know, going with the factory stuff is going to be better if you can. Yeah, that feels good. That tip is decent. Still a little sharp. And it looks pretty good. Hopefully you guys can see that. Alright, so spring, washer, and then the O-ring. And we'll put a little dressing. Alright, and then we can turn it out 1.5. Alright, and that's it. We won't touch anything else. All right, I have to mount it, but I have a few other things to do to the motor. And then tomorrow, or maybe later on, I don't know, we'll see what I'm going to do. I think that works out pretty good. Stand by. Oh boy, people are watching. I haven't been looking, fellas, because this is my first stream, like with this setup, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm coming. Stand by. All right, you guys are probably all making fun of me. Henry's going, Arch, why did you take down on my reply about HIPAA? I didn't. I didn't take down your reply, and no one should be taking down. How could they do that, right? They have no permissions. I'll check in on that. That must have been, I know which one. I wanted to ask you too, Henry, like to explain it. Like I think you said something. Oh, wait. You might have said something about monkeys. Yeah, you got to be careful what you say on YouTube, right? They're like, YouTube will take it down. I can't tell you how many channels in the past 2 years, like videos and stuff. Let me get a rag. Hold on. In like the past 2 years, like my friend who's a lawyer down in Carolina, right? Used to be, he was retired. Like was ran his own business, and then he got into like patent law and stuff. So we're like huge conspiracy people, right? The two of us. It's funny. But he would send me video links, and I'd open them up the next day, and they're 404, like they're just taken down. Some comments are considered to be derogatory. You can't say certain things in regard. I'm just guessing, but yeah, you got to watch what you say on the YouTube forums and stuff. They're a little bit better now. Like they're allowing a few more things to come through, but you might think it's, well, freedom of speech, right? Not yet. It's not like a utility. That's actually like kind of been being argued in Congress and in the House, and it just hasn't gotten any kind of real authority. But it's not considered, YouTube and these other communication modalities are not considered to be like a utility, like water. Like you can't shut off water to somebody who's thirsty. You can't shut off power to somebody like me because I'm a diabetic, right? I'm type 1 diabetic. So if I didn't pay my bill, I could say to them, oh, I'm a type 1 diabetic. I have insulin in my refrigerator. If you shut off my power, the insulin goes bad and I die, and my family sues you, right? So they can't do that. They can keep bringing up the bill and trying to sue me and lien my house, and but they can't just shut off the power because it's a utility. And so those laws are in effect. But when it comes to freedom of speech, these are still private companies. And they're doing even though they work for the government, like they're doing whatever they want. Oh, I see Rob. Hey, Rob, you need an endoscope for close inspection for your viewers. I think, Rob, you have your mind in the gutter, right? I'm not taking an endoscope to any close inspection for anywhere for my viewers, right? That you have to pay for, and that's a subscription-based thing, and that's for like only fans or whatever it's called, right? Yeah, wouldn't that be cool, right? Arch naked. No, that would not be cool. What else? Let's see. I got to go back up to the top. Hold on. Josie Wayne said, I thought it was. Wait, hold on. I got to read more. Because everything seems fine to me. Okay, Doc. That's Doc. That's DOHC, right? So yeah, Henry, I got to look into that. There's Josie. There's Wayne, right? Archie getting way too technical for me with all that computer jargon. I know, but you know what? Some people like it. Listen, I'm an old timer now too, and I like the technical stuff, right? Trying to figure out all this stuff. My friend Rob, who's on there, he tried getting me into computers years ago, and I yelled at him. I was like, mad, like, you can't do that because I don't need another expensive hobby. And that's how cameras are. It's an expensive hobby, and if you want to go do things with YouTube and whatever, you need the good stuff. You can get away with some of the cheaper things. I'm smoking a butt because I just finished my job. This is my reward, and I need to stop doing this, right? So you guys can yell at me for doing this. There's Rain. Rain says, I made Rain. Rain, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. R-E-I-N. I think that's German or something. And it could be Rain or Reen or I don't know. I just call you Rain. I made him sick the other day because I was trying to, with that cell phone. What a nightmare. Sorry, guys. That was brutal. I made him want to throw up. He was getting nauseous. It's like being on a roller coaster ride. And I couldn't get the audio right. I think if you took the cell phone, where is it? Hold on. I was saying earlier that if I were to grab a dongle, it's like a dongle for iPhones, and then you can plug a microphone into it, and it would probably work fine. But this is my cell phone, so why? I'd rather use one of these guys. Right, this one and this one. So I was playing with these the other night, And when I got everything working, I think I got it working with this little Samsung, which worked pretty good. So if you guys have like any old phones, for YouTubers especially, any old phone is sitting in a drawer somewhere that you don't know what to do with, it's not a bad idea to use this on your channel. A lot of times what I do is, because there's a light right here, right next to the camera. And so look, is that light on? Do I have it on? Yeah, see? And that light is right next to the camera. So if I want to show you guys something, I'll use this camera a lot for that. If I want to show you guys, I'm like guys, look at the valve, right? I can look down in there and I can see. See, this is why I should have used this camera to show you that little part, that little emulsion tube that's in there. It's a little overexposed, but when I bring it into my video editor, I can fix it. And I can make it nice. So, and then you can see what the hell I'm talking about. And it's a 1920 by 1080. It's not a great, I don't know if it's got 1 core or 2 core. I forget. But it does a pretty good job. And this one, I think, is a 2 core. And it's just a little, same thing, Samsung J7 Android. Okay, it's just a little bit more powerful. However, this thing can't do some of the things that this can do. Like I can use this one as a monitor for my camera. So I can mount on the front, I can see it, and I can control the camera. That's what this screen does right here, this software. Same thing. They have an app for this phone, and it works on this phone, but it doesn't work on this phone. Okay, and it should work on this now that I updated the iOS. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah, read the whole ad, fools. What's that from? I don't know. Yeah, so Doc says, he says, a fair amount of my videos are shot off my phone. Yeah, I think so. Wayne, I think your son uses, for the most part, the newer iPhones, they're nice. Okay, this is like an i5 or something, S, right? This is too old. Okay, this is no better than these Samsungs. It's just a little bit bigger. Like the newer ones have image stabilization and all that. Yeah, absolutely. But that's as much as like my camera, as like one of these cameras, right? What is it, like over $1,000? So one of the cool things I can do with this software is, and I'm going to do another live. We're going to end in about 5 minutes or so. But one of the things I can do with it is, like right now I'm showing you this video feed, but I can also show you something on the web, or I can also play you a pre-recorded segment. So I can integrate all of that into a live stream, and it's very useful because for me, right, I can show you guys something that I want to show you, but I don't have to sit here and go like that, or stay on a live with the camera aimed down at something. Or if somebody brings up an idea or has a comment, I can go to a website and I can show you that stuff. We can look at it together and we can argue over it, That's the kind of stuff I'd like to be able to do. But I'm lucky I got this far, right? I wasn't sure that I could actually connect all of this stuff together and have a fairly decent audio and video quality. We're on the Rode mic right now. I got a little bit boosted up because the impedance is different, right? There's a big word for you. Right, there's impedance mismatches and stuff. It's not everything wants to play nice when you start connecting all this stuff. So you run into problems. And I think, yeah, at the distance I'm at right now, I'm just tickling the red. Now, what I could have done, which I didn't do, is I could have recorded the footage for the rebuild on the CARB, and that could have been in the video that I'm putting together for Tony, for the Craftsman. But I didn't hit the record button. I forgot, right? Because I'm not used to any of this yet. And I got distracted because customers are calling me, right? So they're like, oh, we want your stuff. All right, I think we got through a good part of the test, fellas. And I ironed out a little bit of the issues here. And I still don't quite understand all of this stuff. The thing that I don't really understand is exactly when you go live, right? OBS has a button where you start the live stream, but you have to start the setup in YouTube. And I'm not sure exactly at what moment and what button I click. There's no big, like, when you do it this way, there's no big red button that you click on and it goes live. When I tested it unlisted, I think I'm doing it right. And I think when the camera comes up and you start to see a feed on here, right, and everybody's showing the same feed, that's when I'm live. See, this is the YouTube studio, right? This is my camera feed, right, with the software from Sony. And that over there on that monitor is OBS. So I reframe it to get rid of these controls so you don't see my controls. And it's when I start streaming on OBS, all of a sudden YouTube Studio goes, oh, there's a stream, and I get a live indicator. And I think that's how it works. Like, I won't know until I do it a few more times. So stick with me, guys. We'll figure this stuff out. So that's it for this stream. I think we just kind of went over the carburetor. Tony, we're going to find out a little bit. I'm going to fool around with the engine a little bit more tonight. And I want to do the magneto on it, clean it off like I mentioned the other night, and get the ignition system all buttoned up, sprayed up, out of the way. I'll adjust it to like 10 thousandths on the gap. And then I'll mount the carburetor. And, oh, wait, I got one more thing. Where is it? Hold on, it's outside. All right, I wanted to show you guys. Stand by. I'm coming. All right, last thing. One last thing. Tony, I got your muffler. I acid etched it with my favorite acid. All right, that's the body acid you guys always hear me talk about. And I sprayed it. And I wanted to show you guys because I have mufflers out there on my own equipment and on others. So it's got to be clean. This stuff. Right? It's cheap. And it's not going to stay like this after you run it for a little while, right? But it'll look a little dingy. It won't rot. It won't rust again. And I don't know. I think I had a machine. I sold 2 machines this year. I sprayed that muffler with this stuff, with my, the process where you clean off all the grease. If you want, you can hit it with a wire wheel a little bit. I acid etch it. If you don't want to use the acid I use, you can go and get, it's called cleaning vinegar. Right? You can get, CVS has it, a bunch of places have it. You know, I buy it online. It's cheap. It's just a little stronger than regular vinegar. That etches into the metal, and then it gets rid of some more of the rust. And then when you spray, it's just Rust-Oleum high heat ultra for like grills and everything. It just gets a little bit more gray and dingy, but it won't rot. Those machines were like 2 years, 3 years old. I was using them, Snowblower and that Jacobson rider. And when I sold it, like you could have touched it up the muffler a little bit, but there was no rust. It was just getting a little dingy and faded. And what more could you ask? For a muffler, to kind of make a muffler nice for a couple of bucks without some kind of crazy process out of a spray can. All right, they should be hiring me to like promote this stuff. All right, Rust-Oleum, where are you? All right, I'm more than willing. They used to, by the way, they used to put fish oil in their primers, and I was talking about that with my friend in Carolina, and we looked it up. The guy that invented it was a sea captain, I guess in the 20s or something, and he came out with rusty metal primer because he noticed that on the steel decks of the ship, they were whaling a lot, and when they got a lot of oil on the deck, it didn't rot. So he got the idea to patent a paint with fish oil in it. And I remember my friend Arthur used to say, because when we would work on cars like 100 years ago, we could smell it. He's like, there's fish oil in there. And the story is true. So that was for the primer, the rusty metal primer. I don't think they put it in there anymore. Right? I don't know why not, but they don't. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm going to end the stream here. All right. Thanks for watching. And thanks for chatting, guys. JD! Yeah, I know, right? Right? Doesn't that look new? It's beautiful. It is like new. All right, it's raining. It wasn't grainy on my iPhone, but now on my laptop, it's yeah. You can't see the can? It's Miller. Is that you, Miller? Can you see it? Yeah, it's not 100%. Like I said, because it's not coming out of the HDMI port, so I'm not getting a clean HDMI signal. It's going through USB, and this USB cord here. One of them is USB 3.0, and it's patched into a USB 2.0. So I should have shut the heat off. I will try another USB 3.0. I need a special cord for it. But it's not high. I don't know if the camera's really set up for that. Honestly, I don't think it will make that much of a difference because the connector on the end that goes into the camera, I think, is just it's a micro USB, so it's not like a USB-C. So I don't think even upgrading the cord will really do much. Really, the right way to do it is to come with a long HDMI cord, so you get no loss, and I have to go into some kind of a switcher, and then I'll have proper HDMI. Because what you're actually looking at is the image that's on this monitor. So what you guys are seeing isn't really what's just from the camera clean. It's whatever. It's almost like there's a camera looking at this monitor and showing it to you, except it's done internally, right? So there's no optics. It's like the computer is like, knows this monitor is displaying something. It's taking the feed from this monitor after the fact, and then it's putting it through OBS and into YouTube. And there's going to be loss, and I hate it. I mean, it's not as bad, and you shouldn't see too much lag or anything because I have it set to like ultra, like no lag, ultra no lag on YouTube, whatever the setting is. And it does. I don't see any staccato or anything. It doesn't look mushy. Also, the other thing too is like, look, before I leave, yeah, let's see, light. Right, the ISO on the camera, it's dark in here because my light bulbs are burning out. So I got to rebulb the building, and that's expensive. So here's a little bit of light. Let's see, string the lines up overhead. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good idea, Ray. And that's if I get long enough cords. Yeah, that might help. Yeah, because you can go pretty long. With HDMI, you can go a long run. So there's a little bit more light over here. The whole shop needs to be rebulbed. They're burning out. That over the table, that whole, it's like, I think it's a 4 bulb system. That's like yellow now because the bulbs are beat. This one I did, that one I did, but the bulbs are burning out. These bulbs sometimes don't come on. That's a sodium light I got from Rob. You can't see that light because there's crap in the way. In the other room, when you turn the switch on, it's sort of like you gotta have to go like that with the switch to try to get everything to fire up. I'd like to go USB, not USB, LED, and convert. And there's 2 ways to do that. You have to get a more expensive bulb that you can just drop in, but it's not as efficient because it's running off of the transformer inside, fluorescent transformer. The other way to do it is you get a different bulb, and it has to be rewired. So you have to go in, rip out all of these ballasts, rewire, put the bulb in, and test. That's cheaper, and it uses less energy. But everything's expensive. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, there's no flickering. Good. That's good to know. All right, guys, I'll see you later.